Hi, my name is Senga Lindsay. I'm a landscape architect, and here we are down under in New Zealand. And today we're going to talk about the Modernist garden. Now this is an American, it's called the American Modernist garden, and this was designed as a result of the 20th century movement towards contemporary architecture. And as you can see here, we've got very large, bold plants. We've got these blue walls, very minimalist. A lot of this was based on things like the Modernist and Cubanist movement and the arts movement as well, modern art. The sites itself were predominantly created in the Midwest, but has since gone from east to west in their design. What makes them different in the different areas are the use of the plant material. And the American Modernist garden is focused on using the indigenous plants of that particular region as their planting palette. So this one, as you can see, is more of a southwest with the dry land plants, like these yuccas, for example, and the festucas. Very, very representative of a drier climate, almost a Mediterranean climate. Oftentimes, curvilinear curves were used. This garden here was inspired by famous landscape architect Thomas Church, and we'll go inside and see the swimming pool that inspired his most famous design. He was a landscape architect of the earlier period of the century. We are in a typical, what we call typical American family home at the time. Garden spaces were often used, or still are, as outdoor living spaces, outdoor rooms, and the movement is becoming more and more popular with the use of creating patio spaces that interface directly with buildings, and that's just an example of a contemporary building facade where the glass often went down to the bottom of the hardscape, so there was a feeling of inside-outside. Now, in this case, the swimming pool here, like I said, was inspired by Thomas Church's design, and oftentimes, as you can see here, modern art was put into the garden as per the swimming pool, and in the far distance we see a panel of Marilyn Monroe there. Colors could be used boldly. Plants were used boldly, as you can see these yellow chairs. And if we come back here, and we see as if we're standing now in the building looking out. Here's a great example of one of my favorite gardens, ornamental grasses. Very architectural in feel with the very rigid or rhythmic forms, very predictable forms. So a lot of times these gardens came right up to the building or the living spaces. There was very little difference between this edge and that edge. It was almost like the outdoors came indoors. So this would be again a very symbolic of an eastern seaboard type of planting palette with the ornamental grasses. So here's how this space works from a form point of view. If you were to look at this in plan view, you would see it's all a series of interlocking curves. The curve of the pool, the curve of the planting bed in the far background there, as well as the curve of this stepping system. So everything interlocked, everything flowed, and that's one of the principles of the Modernist garden. Hi, my name is Senga Lindsay. I hope you've learned a little more about the American Modernist garden. The fact that it is the garden of the 20th century. It's a movement that was based on pop art, minimalist, Cubanist, and modern architecture. It's also a style that is responsive to the environment with the use of indigenous plant materials, and also the site planning itself is very responsive to the area it's in, whether it's on a hillside or whether it's flat. The landscape is built in to the site. If you want to learn anything more about American Modernist garden or other garden styles, please contact
www.sengadesign.com.